Hello, FPL managers, and welcome to the Zonal Weakness brought to you by Corner Football Fantasy and powered by Fantasy Football Scout. Yeah, look who's joined me after a couple of weeks. I mean, I was on vacation, so it feels like eternity, but yeah, welcome, Bethany.
Thank you. Nice to be back. Yeah, it does feel like a long time, actually.
Yeah, it does. At least I had 2 weeks break, so yeah, I'm not sure. I'm completely out of FPL world,
Oh, very,
but
yeah,
anyway,
out
how
of
was
blue,
it?
aren't you? Haven't even looked at your team recently, so you
No,
have
I
no idea
haven't.
what's going on.
Absolutely no, clueless, and it
Blissfully
feels great
unaware.
to
I
be
wish
in
I
this
was
situation.
blissfully unaware. I wish I didn't know what was going on this week. It's been a
Yeah,
disaster.
I can tell you it's peaceful out here. Yeah, peaceful. It's really peaceful. But anyway, how was your game week?
Well, so after we talked last 2 weeks ago, I ended up wildcarding, which actually went all right that week. I think I got a green arrow, not massive, but okay. And then my planned move last week was to do KDB to Bowen, get rid of KDB. I'd kept him on my wild card because of the Manchester derby. Thought he could do well. Didn't. Disaster. But my planned move was to bring in Bowen, who was playing Burnley this week. Thought that was a great move. Bowen obviously blanked. KDB actually finally returned, so that was a move not well made. And then on my wild card, I had Senesi, who actually I'd owned for a while, so he wasn't just a wild card pick, but I'd brought him in, kept him, and then obviously he got injured, and so I ended up then using a -4 to swap out Senesi this week to can't even think of the
Zavani.
defender's name because I didn't really particularly want him, but yeah, Zamanani brought him in, and obviously they lost the clean sheet to Sheffield and didn't even just lose it, managed to let more than one goal in, so yeah, that was a disaster too. So I'm currently sat on I think 30 -4. The only saving grace in my team is Cole Palmer. Didn't own Son obviously because of the Bowen move. And yeah, Palmer's the only person that's done anything. The rest of it is a sea of zeros and ones and twos, and Solanke captain with a nice penalty miss and offside goal. So not the greatest of weeks. I think I'm 100k down. So I've gone from about 420 to K to about 550k, something like that. Yeah, what about you? Do you even know where you are?
I have absolutely no clue. All I can tell you is I made 2 moves. That's -4. I kicked out KDB and got in Havertz, and I took Solanke by
I think that's a nice move
replacing
long term. I
Archer.
like Havertz.
Yeah, but that's it. And I have no idea. I mean, I still haven't looked at my team, and I don't want to because I really were. I'm planning of playing the free hit, which has always been my plan, and I want to stick to the plan. So I want to really go in with my free hit, with fresh ideas, and not being influenced or biased by any of the things that we come across. Which kind of influences your decision to an extent. So yeah, I'm still not looking at my team, and still the double game week is still on, so it's okay. Let's hope Solanke will do something. But
Yes.
anyway, I'm
Yeah.
honestly speaking, when the penalty went in, he missed the penalty. I was like having a good laugh about it. Yeah, so all that's all I
It
can
just
say
sums it
on
up. It
live video.
reminds me of Dennis a couple of seasons ago.
Yeah, it does. It
He
does.
got
It
so
does. It does.
excited and then, yeah, such a disaster.
But I think for the first time that I had hope on such a player, and when he ended up, disappointing so much, I didn't react, and I was like, "Oh, it's okay. It is what it is." Very cool about it. But yeah. Anyway, I think there were many other reasons as to why I reacted that way. But anyway, so let's have a look. And this is double gaming 29, of course. Sorry, blank gaming 29, not double gaming. Sorry, my apologies. Blank gaming 29. I'm still in the holiday mode, so bear with me. Um, and we are going to go into this looking at the review of a particular player who happens to be a top-notch footballer. And then we are going to look into the blank game week 29, and we are going to look into what you might call it, the team of the week, and of course, Bethany's free hit draft. Yeah. So stay tuned, audience. And before we move ahead, please do give us a follow, a like, and a subscribe to our YouTube channel, because that's where we are doing the zonal regularly. And of course, on Twitter, you will get the threads on the players that we think are ideal. And all the data that you see are from the Fantasy Football Scout membership area. If you want to get the membership, click on the link in the description below, and you would get a 20% discount. And you'd get access to all the articles as well as all the data that you need And I think we are towards the end of the season, so it's getting a little bit trickery and it's getting quite competitive. And with all the cheap strategies that you need to play and find the right players, I think the data would be immensely helpful. So this is the right time to invest in this. So go ahead. Now, before we go, let's just bring this player in, whom we have suggested as a transfer option. And all I can tell you is he has been the biggest trap this season for a lot of people. And I think he trapped us in the most perfect manner. And I think that's the best way to trap any FPL manager, right? Let's introduce. It's Kevin De Bruyne. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what is there to say? It's definitely got to go down in history as one of the worst transfers we've all made in the FPL community this season. Like, he obviously had that haul where he came off the bench. Some people had gone from him. He was benched, but he managed to come on and got a 12-pointer. So we all rushed for him. And then since then, he's gotten pretty much nothing. I mean, across here, obviously, points per match, 2 points per match, and we're paying premium price for this asset. And in that time, so many cheaper players have done so much better. And then to top it all off, most of us have now sold him, and then he actually gets a return this week. Not a massive return, but better than he's done for the last 4 weeks before that. So yeah, definitely pleased he's out my team, but frustrating that the week I sold him, he actually got a return. You had even worse.
So I got him in Game Week 22. Exactly. Yeah, I got him in Game Week 22 immediately after his haul, and I thought, I'm going to go triple up Man City. So I had Haaland, Foden, and De Bruyne, and I was not really expecting too much in the double Game Week 25 because of the rotations and stuff. So that's anticipating all that. So I was thinking, by the time Game Week 25 comes, he would already pay me enough, and score enough points. So that's that. Yeah. So I sold Saka and I sold Watkins to accommodate him. And since then, Saka and Watkins went on a rampage. And my dear friend went up giving us a phone number, 4200026. Yeah, that sounds like a phone number to me. But anyway, it's been the worst transfer that I've made this season. And he has pushed my rank and put me back into that zone whereby I was struggling to come out of it. But yeah, I rocked my boat. And now I'm trying to still steady it after 6-7 game weeks. So yeah. But anyway, I got Havertz in for him this week. And yeah.
Yeah, he's a great long-term pick. I really like Havertz. I'm looking to bring him in. Not quite yet, but in a couple of weeks, definitely.
But anyway, let's look at the zonal weakness for blank game week 29. And these are the players that are there. These are the teams. What stands out, Bethany?
So Brentford, I think Brentford might be one of the teams that people are looking at tripling up on if they're going for a free hit. And the 3 options I think that stand out here: Tony, ranked 3rd for chances conceded down the left flank, and crosses conceded down that flank. Same with Roslav, and then Visser for headers conceded down the centre. I think it's interesting on here looking at the difference between Roslav and Reguilon. So obviously Reguilon it's uncertain at the moment. It looks like he might be injured. He was out last week, whether or not he's back in time. But actually, I think even without that, I think you can, if you're on free hit, you go Roslav. Obviously ranked 3rd there and 3rd, whereas Reguilon's ranked 8th and 12th. So I think that's definitely the way to go. I think an interesting differential would definitely be to triple up on them and go Roslav, Visser and Tony. Would definitely make it a bit different. Unfortunately, Spurs don't come out too well from this table on the zonal weakness, which is a bit disappointing because, again, I think Spurs are one of those teams that people are hoping to triple up on. So Johnson and Udogie come off the best in this table. I think I like both of them as an option. I think Udogie is a great option in defence when we don't have loads of great defenders this week. But I think also another differential could be going for Johnson. I think most people are going for Son and Maddison, who don't look bad in this table, but they don't look great either. And then most people are going for the defence. But actually, it could be a nice differential to go triple Spurs attack because they've been so free-flowing with goals at the moment that they could easily score 3, 4. and have everybody involved multiple times. The only thing to watch out with Johnson is his minutes. He's not as nailed on as Son and Maddison to play 90 or close to it. He could come off early. I think he'll start, but he could come off early to give Furness some minutes. So there's something to watch there. But yeah, two nice players. I'd be going for definitely one of them in there. It does mean the captaincy is a bit iffy though, because I think most people are going for Son or looking at it, but actually looking at the table, he's not as nice an option as you might have hoped he would. Whereas underneath him, Watkins is down second, so that kind of puts a spanner in the works there, makes people think a little bit and might split the captaincy more. So yeah, with Villa, Watkins, Douglas Luiz, Bailey and Cash all look like they're coming out well on the zonal weakness. And I definitely think you can't go with Watkins, whether you've got free hit or not. I think Watkins is somebody you need to go for, and he could be a captaincy option. The others I'm less supportive of, even through this table. Obviously, at the weekend, John McGinn, captain, got the red card, and then they lost 4-0. So I think both that fact that they've lost 4-0 and they're not quite in form anymore, but also the fact that they're going to be without John McGinn doing those defensive duties. I think somebody like Douglas Luiz might be pushed back into his position, and I think they may struggle without that kind of their usual starting 11. So something to watch. But yeah, doubling up on them, I think, is absolutely fine, but I probably wouldn't go on a triple up on Aston Villa this week because of that reason. I think next is a team that most people are maybe not really looking at that much, even on the free hit, and definitely if they've not got a free hit, they're not going there. But I think somebody like Elanga or Abenai for Forest could be some really great differentials this week, especially on your free hit, because those who are not on your free hit are not going to have brought them in. They're not going to want them long term, so they're probably going to avoid Nottingham Forest players. Whereas I think both Elanga and Abenai have the chance to, get some points this week against Luton. Luton have been quite leaky. They've been one of the leakiest defences across the whole season. And yeah, Abenai ranked 5th for chances conceded down the centre, and Elanga ranked first. I probably would go for Elanga just because I think there's more options up front. And obviously he's got a better zonal weakness match up there anyway. But yeah, both of them could be interesting differentials.
Okay, let's look at the next table. Yeah, not many.
Yeah, and it's not looking great, is it? You'll see later when I share my free hit team that I've actually changed my mind and I'm not going free hit. And part of that is because of the way my team is set up and wanting to use my transfers. But also part of it was when I was coming to try and pick my team. Like I was looking and I was like, who am I to choose from? And kind of the zonal weakness kind of backs that up. There's not loads of white in here, people standing out that is looking really good. So obviously we've got Bowen there, who we thought could have been an option. Let us down last week for those of us like me that went for him after his hat-trick. But he's ranked 15th for chances conceded this week. Nobody else in West Ham standing out. Give me 2 seconds. My computer's about to die, so I'm just going to lean over and plug it in.
Yeah, sure.
There we go. And again, lots of us, if we're not free hitting, we might have kind of brought lots of Luton players in advance of this, knowing that they play both the double and the blank. And even people on the free hit are probably thinking about Luton players. But looking at this, again, none of them standing out. Morris, who's probably the most popular option, especially on pens, is ranked 14th for chances conceded down the centre or 15th for headers conceded. So it's not looking great. I think the one I would point out here is crosses conceded from the right flank. It's not highlighted because it's 6th rather than 5th, but it's so close it's worth mentioning. So both Doherty, which quite a few people own anyway, so that's good, but also Chong as a nice differential, ranked 6th for crosses conceded. So I think, again, Chong in that midfield where we're kind of not got loads to choose from, I think Chong's quite a good differential there. Then we come on to Burnley. And again, a team that we wouldn't normally ever consider if it wasn't for this blank game week. But you can see actually they've got quite a few standout players this week. So I particularly like Charlie Taylor, and I think a lot of people will be very pleased to see him sitting here when they've kept hold of him as their fifth defender and third bench option for so long. I think, this week could be his week. That he gets that attacking return. I think the key thing here is to remember that I think Brentford will score, so he is going to be relying on that attacking return. He's not probably going to get a clean sheet. But when we've got so limited in who we can pick this week, I think somebody like Charlie Taylor could be a great option in defence. And then finally, we've got Fulham. And again, a little bit disappointing. I think Muniz is somebody that's been quite a lot talked up in the community. I really liked him. He's done, apart from the most recent match, he's been in form for the last kind of 5-6 weeks, doing really well, scoring consistently. But he's ranked 16th for headers conceded, 16th for chances conceded down the centre. So not particularly inspiring. Again, somebody that's on the kind of border is Castagna and Harry Wilson, ranked 7th for chances conceded down the left flank. So they might be somebody you could consider, especially in defence with somebody like Castagna, if they've got those attacking return potential. Why not?
I think Harry Wilson is a good shout, to be honest. I think he's been playing really well. So, and I think the zonal is a little bit of in favor. So, I'm speaking completely from a naivety point of view. But anyway, I shouldn't speak too much about it because I'm still not in it. But anyway, looking at the previous games, I would say Harry Wilson was one of them who really stood out, at least from the eye test point of view. Yeah. Okay, let's have a look at the team of the week for the zonal weakness for Blank Game Week 29.
Yep.
Here it is.
Yeah, so I really like the defence options here. We've already talked about them, but I really like Udogie, Taylor, and I think definitely going for Roerslev now over Reguilon, whether he's fit or not. I think it's a great shout. I also really like Maddison and Son, which I think is going to be in most teams anyway, whether they're free hitting or not. But I think Ilanga being in there is a great differential. I think the interesting point here, what I've made before, is about I'm not so keen on tripling up on Aston Villa this week because of them just having come away from that 4-0 loss and because of them being without John McGinn. So also good, a thing to note is that both Douglas Luiz and Bailey both tend to do better at home, and this match is away. So for me, I'd probably swap out Douglas Luiz and play a third forward instead. And I think there's quite a few forwards to choose from, whether that's somebody like Muniz, whether that's somebody like Morris, whether it's Visser, who obviously was ranked highly and go for the triple Brentford. I think there's quite a few forward options. So I'd probably go for 3-4-3 this week instead of 3-5-2.
Okay, so we'll move on to your free hit team now to see whether you have gone 3-4-3 or 3-5-2. You have gone for 3-4-3.
I have.
Okay.
I have. Yes. So like I said before, this is not going to be my free hit team anymore because I'm probably going to just use some for transfers. And that's not necessarily because free hit's a bad thing this week. It's just that for my team, I've been a bit disappointed this week and I want to get some of those Spurs players in advance, and I don't really want to lose my free transfer and have to end up taking a -16 next week to be able to bring in Son, bring in Salah. Whereas if I took some of the hit this week, in a blank game week, it kind of makes sense for my team. And it then means I can keep the free hit for game week 34 when there might be blanks and doubles. But this was the free hit team I put together for if I was free hitting. I think some of it speaks for themselves. I think Flecken and Reguilon, or Flecken and Roerslev now, going for that. I think they're the defence most likely to keep a clean sheet. So I think that kind of makes sense. And then I've got Sells on my bench again because Luton have been struggling to score quite a bit recently. So if Flecken was injured for some reason, I've got Sells to come in who could keep a clean sheet. I like Reguilon or Roerslev because as well as that clean sheet option, though, they've both got attacking returns in them. So I think, I like them as an option. Doherty never seems to manage to do it while I actually play him. He manages to do it while he's on my bench, but he has got those attacking returns in him. He puts in so many crosses, creates so many chances. I think he's got that option this week. And again, Nottingham Forest are not the most attacking team, so there is a potential of a clean sheet there as well as the attacking returns. So you're doubling up on both teams that could get attacking returns as well as as clean sheets there as much as you can. And Udogie, again, it's nice to see him back after his injury. Another potential clean sheet against Fulham, and if not, there's potential for that attacking return. And we saw earlier that the Zona looked really nice for him. Midfield, I'm very set on Son and Maddison. They'd be no-brainers, I think. Bowen has been disappointing recently, but I don't think there's many other players, and I think probably you need to cover that West Ham somehow. So he's my token West Ham player. And then Bailey, I think while I would still have him in my team, I'd probably swap him out and bench him, and he'd be my first bench option. I'd bring in Chong. Chong obviously didn't look too bad in the zonal. He's a very nice differential. He's going to be not very highly owned at all. So if you're going to go for a free hit, you might as well bring in some of those players that are not going to be owned by the masses and that non-free hitters can't get to. But again, against Forest could be a nice fixture for him. I think before this week, I think he blanked this week in the getting week we're still in. But before that, I think he'd got 3 returns in 3 weeks, something like that. So I like him. And Luton generally tend to do much better at home. So and then up top, I've got Watkins, like everybody. And then I went a little bit different. So I know a lot of people have gone Tony, and both Tony and Visser came up nice on the zonal. But Visser's the one in form for me. It's just that whether you're willing to risk going against Tony, because Tony will be higher owned. There is the potential to go Tony and Visser double up. I'm not against that and swapping Muniz out, but you'd have to get rid of one of your defenders, I think. So that's the problem there with the double up. But I like the fact that Visser's in form. He just doesn't have the penalties. And then Muniz, again, up until last week, he's been in form, and I think kind of maybe 4 or 5 attacking returns in the last couple of weeks. So I really like him. And they're playing at home. And Spurs can leak goals. I know they didn't with Aston Villa, but they can. So yeah, that's pretty much it. But there's a few people there I change, and yeah, I've got somebody like Dean on my bench, but I wouldn't hope he'd be coming on because Aston Villa haven't looked great defensively. I think I'd probably, now that I've seen the zonal as well, I'd change Marilla out. Trying to think who I would change him to. Actually, there was somebody I thought of before that I was like, oh, I definitely
Charlie Taylor.
Yes. Yeah. So I'd probably change Marilla now that I've seen the zonal. I'd change him to Charlie Taylor. But yeah, that's about it. Son with the captaincy, and I've gone Visser Vice.
Okay. So that's that. Thank you so much. I think this has been quite comprehensive coverage, to be honest. It's a short game week, a small game week, blank game week. So yet we have taken the time to discuss through a lot of players, and we have discussed 2 teams. So just to enable FPL managers who are actually planning to free hit or not, just to give them options. But thank you so much, Bethany, and glad to see you back. And I'm glad I'm back again. And I hope I'll be able to play my free hit. I haven't made my decisions fully yet, but yeah. But unless I don't change my mind, it's most likely going to be a free hit. But yeah, I'll let you know.
Look forward to hearing how it goes. And I hope when you look at your team, eventually, it's not too bad. And you've got some nice surprises in there.
Yeah, I think I'll have a few surprises. I will have few surprises. It's free hit anyway, so it's 1 week game. So thank you so much, and take care, audience, and we will see you for the double game. The game week in game week 30. Sorry. Yeah, I'm still trying to get into the appeal mood, but I'm not. I'm sorry. But anyway, take care, and we'll see you again. Until then, bye-bye.